A very warm welcome to the second module of planning, wherein we will be discussing about the steps in planning process and also the limitations of planning. So let's continue with the steps in planning process. Planning, as all other processes, have certain systematic steps to be followed, which starts with setting up of objectives, establishing planning premises, identifying alternatives, evaluating and choosing the best alternative, formulating derivative plans, securing cooperation, and follow-up of the plans. So let's initiate with the first one, that is setting up objectives. In planning function, managers begin with the setting up of objectives because all the policies, procedures and methods are framed for achieving objectives only. So, objectives have to be well defined and described very clearly as a whole and of each of the individual departments it should be based on. The basic objective of the enterprise should be defined in terms of the philosophy or the master strategy. The objectives also have to be defined keeping in mind the physical and the financial resources of the companies. Managers prefer to set up goals which can be achieved quickly and in specific limit of time. Therefore, after setting up the goals, the clearly defined goals are communicated to all the employees. Objectives indicate the end result the company wishes to achieve. It also provides guidelines for further decision making. It helps in anticipation and identification of problems and opportunities that should also be accomplished. The second step is about developing the planning premises. So once we have set up with the objectives, now we have to identify the boundaries within which various decisions would be made. So these are known as the assumptions about future. Thus, planning premises provide the environment or the boundaries within which plans will be executed. These planning premises are also of two types, internal and external. External assumptions deal with the political environment, the social environment, technological changes, competition, government policies, etc. Whereas internal assumptions deal with the internal policies of the organization, the availability of good quality resources, raw materials, human resource, the quality of management that we have. Premises are therefore the base on which plans are made. It is a kind of forecast made keeping in mind the existing plans and any past information about various policies that we have. There should be a total agreement on all the assumptions that we make. And the assumptions are made on the basis of forecasting. Forecasting is the technique of gathering various information. We can make forecasts on the demand of the product, change in the government, change in the taxation rates or the competitors' policies, etc. The third step is about identifying alternative course of action. That means identifying the various ways in which the organization could achieve the objectives. Obviously, there is no one way. There are many ways in which the organization can achieve the objectives. Those ways are known as alternatives, and it is necessary to collect and analyze all relevant information. Information may be collected from either primary sources or secondary sources, and those information should be very up to date and reliable. A manager must confine to those alternatives which are strategic, promising, or directly related to the situation or objective in hand. That means the cost should be equal to the benefits arised. The fourth step holds evaluating and choosing the best alternative. Every option will go through a detailed examination where all the pros and cons are given weightage. The alternate plans needs to be evaluated in the light of the organizational objectives, and the best or the most feasible plan will be chosen to be implemented in the organization. The selection is based obviously on scientific evaluation and in the light of the feasibility tests that are being conducted in the organization. The common bases on which these alternatives are being tested are on risk involved, expected return, planning premises, goals to be achieved, etc. And thereafter, the manager starts eliminating these alternatives with more of the negative aspects, and the one with the maximum positive aspect is being selected. The fifth step is about formulating derivative plans. Every manager will have to come up with one or more supportive plans or derivative plans. These supportive plans refers to the policies, procedures, rules and budgets, etc. And these are also known as secondary plans, which help with the implementation of the main plan as they are derived from the main plan. These plans are related to performances of routine jobs in the organization. For example, if we have to develop a new product, derivative plans could be from where we are going to buy the equipments, from what kind of raw materials would be required, plan to purchase the raw materials, plans to procure funds for the production process. All these are derivative plans. Proper timing and sequencing of these derivative plans should also be accomplished. The sixth step is securing cooperation. After the managers have prepared or drafted the main and the supportive or derivative plans on paper, there is no use for these plans unless and until they are put into action. Therefore, for implementing the plans or putting the plans into actions, the managers have to start communicating the plans to the employees very clearly, because it is actually the employees or the subordinates who have to carry on the activities according to the specifications mentioned in the plan. As successful implementation of the plans requires the understanding and wholehearted cooperation of employees, plans must be communicated and explained in detail to the employees. Employees should also be motivated and guided to execute the plans to the best of their abilities. Employees should be engaged in the work, whereas their suggestions and ideas can also be considered. Last but not the least step in the planning process is follow-up action. Every existing plans should be reviewed at periodic intervals to ensure their importance and their effectiveness. As planning is a continuous process, therefore, it is the manager's job to put the plans into action and to continuously monitor and revise the plans from time to time. Continuous revision of plans enables the management to draw up subsequent plans on the basis of experiences gained in the process of implementing the previous plan. For example, if the expenditure planning is done keeping in mind 5% inflation rate, but in present circumstances, If the inflation rate rises to 10%, then during follow-up, the managers make changes in the plans according to the 10% inflation rate. This is known as follow-up. During follow-up, many adjustments are made in the existing plans. Now let us discuss the limitations of planning. The first limitation of planning is it is a costly process. It is a very expensive process because it involves money and efforts for forecasting, collection of information, evaluation of alternatives, and many others. It is an intellectual process, and company also needs to hire professional experts to carry on the planning process. So, along with the salary of the experts, the company has to spend a lot of time and money to collect accurate facts and figures. Thus, we say it is a cost-consuming process. Therefore, planning should be economical and not a costly process. That is, the cost of planning should not exceed the gains expected from it. Only if the benefits of planning are not more than its cost, then it should not be carried on. The second limitation of planning is it is time-consuming process. A considerable amount of time is required for collection, analysis, and interpretation of information for planning, because it takes a long time for evaluating all these alternatives and selecting the best out of them. So a lot of time is needed in developing planning premises also. Therefore, the action gets delayed, and whenever there is a need for prompt and immediate decision, then we have to avoid in detail or in-depth planning. Planning is not practicable during emergencies and crises, when on-the-spot decisions are necessary. In such circumstances, the existing plans may have to be abandoned, and planning may cause delay in decision and action. The third point is about planning leads to rigidity. Sometimes when the plans are formulated, people tend to strictly follow the plans irrespective of the change in environment. Employees become more concerned about observing and following the plans and procedures rather than achieving the goals of the organization. They are reluctant to deviate from plans due to the fear of criticism. Thus, detailed planning may create a rigid framework in the organization. It may also discourage individual initiatives and creativity. The fourth limitation is planning lacks accuracy. In planning, we are always thinking in advance, and planning is concerned with future only, and future is always unpredictable and uncertain. In planning, we make many assumptions and we decide about the future course of action. But these assumptions are not 100% accurate, and if these assumptions do not hold true in present situation or in future condition, then the whole planning will fail. That means when the forecasts are inaccurate, plans becomes misleading. Bias, prejudice of the planners, lack of reliable data, errors of judgment also reduce the accuracy of planning. Therefore, blind reliance on plans may be very dangerous to the organization. The fifth limitation is about false sense of security. Sometimes managers have false sense of security that plans have worked successfully in past, so they would be working in the future also. There is a tendency in managers to rely too much on the predetermined plans. It is not true that if a plan has worked successfully in past, it will bring success in future also, as there are so many unknown factors which may lead to failure of a plan in future. Planning only provides a base for analyzing future. It is not a solution for future course of action. The sixth point is about psychological barriers. As in the organization, people become familiar or accustomed to a specific set of attitudes, beliefs, tradition, and they resist to any change in established practices and behaviors. In every organization, the upper level managers give the priority to present events in comparison to the future events because present is more certain and beneficial to organization rather than future. But on the other hand, we know that planning relates to forecasting of future events in advanced manner. Planning often implies changes which the executives would like to ignore, hoping that they would not materialize. On the whole, we can say that there is a conflict in managers' mind about planning due to psychological differences. Seventh point is about external limitations. Business environment is dynamic and there are lots of changes which are external and beyond the management's control. Those factors are called external factors, such as change in technology, change in competition, change in the government policies, or maybe any natural calamities such as flood, earthquakes, which may result in failure of plans. In here, management has little or no control over these external factors, which greatly hamper the managerial planning in an enterprise. The eighth point of limitation is human element. Sometimes individuals or group of individuals may use planning to serve their own interest. They manipulate the goals, the objectives of the organization and formulate plans in such a manner that their interest is served rather than the larger interest that is of the organization. Some people may prepare too elaborate reports which is of no use, or there may be endless follow-up of the results of planning. All this would lead to wastage of time and effort. Manipulation and biasness would also result in failure of the overall interest of business. Thus, we can conclude that planning is not a substitute for executive judgment, but merely it can be considered as an aid to it. Mere planning does not guarantee success. It is ultimately that action has to be taken. Hope you have understood about planning. Thank you and take care.